Hey, it's Elliot Wilson from Rap Radar. And me and my partner, B.Dot Miller. And you know we got the premier website out there, rapradar.com. And now we're about to take over the podcast game. We're going to sit down with the culture's most important voices and give you that news and information, that opinion. The only opinion that matters, man, here at Rap Radar. Listen up. Here we go. Yeah, Rap Radar Podcast, Elliot Wilson.
B.Dot.
This episode sponsored by
Nobody.
Nobody, man. We ain't got no sponsor this episode, B.Dot.
What the fuck's going on?
Yo, Pat, come on, baby. Where's Brian Corson? Where's Byron Ward? Who's in charge over here? Where's Seth? Anybody?
Fell off already? No one's sponsoring.
No one's sponsored, but we're still special, man. We're back at it.
I like to think so.
I want to thank all our previous sponsors. We ain't going to mention them right now, though, because they didn't really,
This one's sponsored by the streets.
There you go.
Listeners.
There you go.
There
The
you go.
streets and the listeners, man. Coming off that 2 Chainz, man. Shout out to Titty Boy.
Yeah.
That was pretty good, right? Streets saying, what the streets saying about that Titty Boy
They
episode?
like it. You know what's interesting was like, I wasn't expecting that from 2 Chainz, I think it was only his second interview of the year. And he
Next
was really,
to, girl, what's her name?
Nancy Grace.
Nancy Grace.
I guess that's good company. And he was really open and honest and candid. And I think that story about him, his night in New York was really funny, too.
Yeah, somebody. Don't be out here pretending you're a Rap Radar journalist, man. Don't be getting, what I'm saying? Don't be using the Rap Radar name in vain out
I'm
here.
just saying, man. What the hell was that about? Who was that girl? I got to find out who that chick was.
You probably know it. That's the problem.
But what's even crazy is that we could have talked for like maybe 2 hours.
Yeah, I think when a good hour goes by without Rap Radar
fast.
podcast, it goes by fast, right? It's dope. I still call you by your government. I'm sorry, calligraphist. My bad.
Yeah.
It's tax time. It might be after you, man. No, but I think, I think that he opened up. I think, he started really like calm, and then once we talked about, I think the future comparisons, then he kind of lit up, and then he was off and running from there. And I felt like he told a lot of like history stuff that he's told parts of, but I felt like he was telling us in more detail. Like,
it was definitely
about
more
Luda and all that, like way more definitive, which we wasn't even expecting that. We were just
Right.
trying to get a good solid hour. So, but that's how you have to do it, man. I think our track record is pretty good. That was the start of season 2, as you said, right?
Yeah, we're 21 now. We can get a drink. It's interesting though, because 2 Chainz is not necessarily the quote unquote hottest guy in the game right now.
People I've been accused of. You and me have both been accused of. We only fuck with the hot people. Like he even kind of said it during the interview, like you guys.
I mean, that's
used
true.
to fuck with us.
2 Chainz is still the homie. He gave me a plaque, man.
So you think that's a reputation? Not just me, but you too. That Rap Radar only fucks with like whoever the hot people in hip hop are.
It has to make sense, man. And it has to be a tie. It has to make sense for the time. It's all about relevancy.
Look at you getting all serious. You seem real mellow this episode.
Am
Man.
I?
You're not upset anymore
I'm
about all these
excited.
podcasts and all that. You not?
What my name Cam say? You gotta dab on them folks.
Damn on the folks.
Nah, I'm cool. I'm excited about today's guest, man.
Why are you so excited, man?
Because it's Queens, man.
Oh man, this guy. Am I gonna get a question in? I feel like you're gonna take this one over, man.
Listen, there's a lot to talk about, man. He has a hell of a career.
Because you was like a baby pup when all this was like. I've done some of the whole 50 job. Like
you did that great cover story.
You wasn't an XXL yet, right?
Nah,
You was like a baby
fan.
pup out here.
I was in college at the time.
Okay, well, not that bad. Don't make me feel old and shit. Like you was like,
Nah. Like 03, 04, I was in college at the time, just being a fan, and just soaking everything in, man. But
one of the greatest battles ever, man.
still being talked about 15 years later,
You know what's funny? I was doing research. He said that when you heard the episode when not the episode, the moment when they said 50 and Ja ended up being on the same flight.
Yeah.
You saw it? He said he was in the thing and they said, "What's up to each other?" Ja Rule said, when I asked him about it, he said he just fell asleep. Like, I don't know if I could fall asleep with that motherfucker. Like, if I got problems with somebody,
You
like,
can't do nothing on the flight. You'll get arrested for that.
No, that's true. But you could get off the flight. You could take a new
You
flight.
gonna fuck him up in LaGuardia or something?
No, you just don't want to ride with
Terminal
him.
6?
But you would feel comfortable just going to sleep?
What's gonna happen, man?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I wouldn't feel comfortable.
Nah, but Ja Rule, he's a legend in his own right. He has a lot to talk about.
A lot of hit records,
A
man.
lot of hit records.
I mean, he's here because he got a new show. He's doing the TV thing.
Follow the rules.
He's getting his Run's House T.I. on. Show's doing pretty good. He's brought the family out there, so.
And it feels like he's getting like it's his third act. It's like a new lease on life, or more or less his career. So I'm really excited to pick his brain and talk to him about the music and things that he's done and things that.
And then maybe this will open up us getting the blabbermouth Irv Gotti on the show.
Gotti. That's not gonna happen.
Irv Gotti's been silenced out here, man. That guy talks too much, man.
Irv Gotti signed a complex. Yeah, man, fucking all the gems and stuff.
We do Ashanti on the show, though, right? Ashanti would be good.
I like Ashanti.
Yeah.
She got a record.
We need a female guest, man.
Ashanti signed to Instagram. You see those pictures? God damn.
Yo, she platinum on Instagram, man. Woo. She's hot. You know, you can say like somebody's not relevant no more. IG's keeping Ashanti alive out here.
Ashanti is smoking.
IG, baby.
Sheesh.
All right, you might little perimeter. If you get a female guest, man, you gotta act right, man. Come on, man.
She could be our first female guest. Let's talk to Ja. He could quarterback that for
They're
us.
about to go on tour. That's what Jesus saying. So we'll see if they go on tour, man. So you think it's a lot? Is there a lot to like talk about from the past, or what's the strategy?
I mean, you have to obviously talk about the past, but you know he's got a lot of things going on. You know, in the present and the future. Yeah,
he did a 2-year bid. That's
crazy.
The bid,
and you know has a new deal with Steve Madden, the shoes.
Yep.
So you know, I hate to talk about the back in the day shit, but you know. Let's try to stay as much in the present as possible.
All right. Well, it's going to be fun, man, regardless, man.
Of course.
This guy talking. I ain't spoke to him in over a decade or some shit,
It's murder.
The mighty Ja Rule. Ja coming through. All right, we're going to be right back with Ja Rule.
Yeah.
Rap Radar Podcast.
Introducing Play.it, a podcast network like no other. From award-winning news programming and #1 sports brands to entertainment and business leaders, Play.it is delivering storytelling at its best.
We're going to be having conversations with newsmakers and culture shapers.
I will be talking mostly about fashion and how I've been marketing all my life.
Tech, culture, and entrepreneurship.
Everything in the world of sports entertainment and wrestling and beyond.
Hear what you've been missing at Play.it.
Hey, it's Ellie Wilson from Rap Radar. And me and my partner, B.Dot Miller, man. With the only opinion that matters, man, here at Rap Radar.
What's good, E? What's happening?
The mics is live. Let's do it, Ja.
Yeah, let's do it.
Excited, man.
Oh, man.
Spoke to you like a decade or some shit.
No, we ain't speaking of money, man. It's been a shit.
What you been up to, man?
Working, man. I'm on my grind, man. You know why everybody think I'm home twiddling my thumbs. I'm putting it together.
You twirling them thumbs, cracking them checks open from the mail, man.
I'm just putting it together, man. Just, you know,
yo, you sharing the family now, man. How's that? What's that adjustment been like?
All the rules.
Yeah, it's been fun, man. You know, 'cause my show is light. You know, it's me and my family just being us, having a good time, and you know, me trying to discipline these crazy kids. And, you know, it's a challenge, man.
Who's harder, you or T.I., you think, on them boys?
Man, I don't know, man. You know, Tibby does a good job, too, you know, at the parenting thing. You know, there's no manual to this thing. So
I was going to say, right?
We walking this dog as it comes along, you know, but it's definitely a fun journey.
I was going to say, when did you feel like I'm a good father? Like, I kind of know what I'm doing here. Like, do you ever feel like that?
Not yet, you know, because it's the job ain't done, you know. When they are all through college and out the house and doing well and successful, then I'll say, you know, I did a good job.
I think it's a Queens thing, man. They're giving the Queens rappers reality shows. You got Run. Irv had a show.
Yeah.
And now you guys got one, too. Did Irv give you advice going into this and stuff like that?
Gotti's advice is the worst advice. All the time. You're gonna get a dose of Gotti's advice tonight on the show. He's you know, giving my daughter some advice on sex.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, Uncle Irv has the worst advice.
He's got
but you know, Gotti's show was very different from mine.
Right.
You know, so.
Yeah. Run was more of an inspiration, right?
Run's my dog. I was with Russ just the other night, and we were talking about Run show, but Run show is definitely the catalyst of this thing for rappers anyway.
Yeah.
You know,
to do it with integrity.
To do it and make it, you know, and see a black family in a good positive space. It's dope. You know, I think it's necessary on TV.
And you on that real MTV, not that MTV2, man. You got that real check.
Yeah, I love MTV, man. You know that you know, because you know that's part of our growing up. That's part of for me. You know, I want my MTV. That was a movement. I lived through that. I felt that. I breathed that. So for me, MTV is like hip hop. You know what I'm saying? They had to break through. You know, they had to, so they know what it's like to come up like that. So I really enjoy being with them because they get it. They get the the whole dynamic of the family, and they get hip hop. They
Right.
How's wifey doing with all the attention now?
She's cool, you know. She likes it, you know. She's been having fun.
She got to do the Breakfast Club and shit.
Yeah, she got to do the Breakfast Club. Angie was just asking, like, "Where's wifey? You didn't bring wifey." You know, we all know each other, so it's, you know, she wanted to talk to wifey too. But it's cool, you know, that she gets to come out and do some of this stuff with me and kind of live in my world a little bit and understand, you know, what I've been going through over the years. And my job ain't easy either. You know what I mean? I've done your job for the day. I give you it ain't being a full parent all day ain't easy either. I give you that. Now give me mine too. Mine ain't easy either. So it's cool that she get to see a little bit of what I do.
And Brittany, she's 20, right?
Yeah, Brittany's 20. Yeah.
Wow.
Daddy's little girl.
Did she ever listen to Daddy's Little Baby?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Oh yeah,
all the time. Actually, she got some of the lyrics tattooed on her. On her side.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, it's dope.
That's dope, man. That's crazy. She's 20. Like, you kind of got your start at 20, more or less, right?
Yeah. Well, right around that time, you know, right around the time she was born, I kind of started to get my deal and situated a little bit. You know, I was Cash Money Click with my group and stuff. And that kind of fell through. You know, some things went wrong. And, and it didn't work out the way we were playing.
TVT, can we talk about TVT?
Oh yeah, we can always talk about TVT, man.
I just remember hearing about how ridiculous that dude was, right? Like with
Steve.
What was his name?
Steve Gottlieb. Yeah. You know what it is? Sometimes people just don't get hip hop. You know, and it's no fault to Steve. You know, he was a guy that had a vision to work with hip hop artists and knew that was the wave, but you know, he didn't see certain visions. Like, he had the Chronic in his office.
Dr. Dre, the Chronic.
He had the Chronic in his office. And didn't see that vision. You know what I'm saying?
That's a hell of a vision to miss. Right?
Yeah,
that's glaucoma.
He had DMX.
DMX, J. could have had the whole thing, right?
He could have had everything. Yeah. He didn't see the vision. So just imagine if he'd have seen the vision. Yeah. He'd had the Chronic, Dre, Jay, DMX. He's a different label.
With Irv Gotti hitting him in the head about what the vision is. Like, if you couldn't even see it, you got Irv connecting the dots for him. At least when it comes to you, X.
I mean, listen, man, you can't tell a man what to do with his money and his company. You know, you could bring him to the water. You can't make him drink it. Look, this is what's hot. This is what it is. This is what I see.
But do you think that you said you always say how Lior recognized you out of the group? Like,
no, actually, it was Foxy that recognized him.
Nah, actually, it was Jam Master Jay. Oh, well, you know what? They're all part of the deal. Listen, there you go, right? They're all part of the story. Everybody played their part. You know what I mean? Yep.
But do you think that Steve saw the potential in you as an individual? Like, what attracted him to Cash Money Click if he didn't see the vision with all these other people?
I don't know. You know, I think he's seen something in, you know, me and the group or whatever. I don't know. You just can't put your finger on it.
It was a small investment as you've been very
right. You know,
candid about.
Right. It wasn't crazy. You know what I mean? But
just put something out there that looks like it got some heat.
Yeah, but at the time, you gotta understand something. Nobody was like Jay wasn't Jay, X wasn't X, and Dre wasn't Dre.
No doubt.
Well, Dre was Dre.
He's coming off.
Dre was Dre, but he was right. He was right. You know, he was coming off of the thing. You know, but he hadn't put nothing out in a while either. You know, so it was like his coming back out party. So, you know, we could all Monday morning quarterback now that everybody's big and everybody, you're like, yo, you didn't see that? You know what I'm saying?
But that dude, I remember hearing about how him and Leo, like, it didn't stop when you signed to Def Jam. There was still all these battles over money, and like he took a lot out of the situation, right? Like, it wasn't like
there was
a clean breakup. Like
no, you know what it was? I went back to do an album with my dudes because you know what I'm saying? I wanted to do an album, and we made a dope album. Mm-hmm. It was called EST 1999. No, or 1995. EST 1995. Established 1995. It was a dope. You know what I'm saying?
That's Chris Black.
It was me, Chris, and O. And we went to LA and worked on the album. And
this is what period? You already were doing your first album on Def Jam?
Yeah, I was already.
Oh, you had 2 albums in, right?
Yeah, I was in my groove. You know what I'm saying? And I was making them joints. Like, I was making them records. And I made some records for that album that was dope.
Yeah.
And so at first, Leo said, "Yeah, we can do the album. You could do it with them." You know what I mean?
Just to satisfy that and keep that.
Yeah, you could do the album over there with them, whatever. And then when it was time to actually do it, we had took the pictures for it, everything. Then it was a whole different story. And I'm like, yo.
I'm not doing this.
Yeah, I'm like, what just happened here? What just transpired? But, you know, in Leo's defense, you know, he felt as though I was too big to go back to that situation.
Right.
Yeah.
And he felt like, you know, now I put in this work for Ja. And, you know, I'm not gonna, you know, help. You know, this is, you know, so I understand Leo's argument, but in the same token, I'm like, you told me I could do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, then you got me looking crazy.
To court and caught an L too, right?
No, they went to court. Steve sued.
Yeah.
And they went to court and everything, and you know, it was a whole big thing, and you know, I had to go and I went and, you know, testified in Leo's defense and stuff.
Oh my God! Wow.
It was a crazy situation. Yeah.
Wow. Those early days though are interesting because I look at Mike Geronimo was a really important part of the Ja Rule, who you are as a rapper.
Yeah.
Like all those collaborations, was that him or was that Irv putting all those pieces together?
No, that was when it came to Me, X, and J, that was Irv.
Okay.
You know, Gotti, you know, he was the catalyst for all of us. You know, he knew me, he knew X, he knew Jay, he knew Mike. Mike was his artist at the time, and, you know, so was, well, I wasn't at the time, but, you know, I became his artist.
Right.
So, you know, that was the glue. You know, Gotti knew everybody and put everybody in play and put everybody together.
Okay.
And, you know, we were just real competitive. You know,
we still are, man.
We still are. We still are. Cause, you know, it's just
but I always say about that era, like once you guys got situated in Def Jam, like people forget, like you was, you know, Jay was who Jay was, but he was selling $1 million. You and X were doing multi.
Yeah.
So that started changing that dynamic. Like there'll be like people talk about like that, like going up to the office and that kind of mood of like that competitiveness. What was that like from your perspective?
You know, Def Jam was the dopest place to be if you was an artist or MC that had heart. If you thought you was the shit, Def Jam was the place to be. Because fuck everybody else in the industry. Fuck all other artists out there. You had to get elbow room on Def Jam first. Because all the monsters was there. You know, EPMD and Red and Meth. And, you know, so you coming into this energy with all of these artists and all of these guys. And, you know, and L's still up there, you know, making albums. And, you know, and then you got X and J that just came out the box killing shit. So I'm coming into the situation like, man, I really can't be concerned about what's going on in the industry. I got to be concerned about what's going on in this building. Because there's a lot of heavyweights up here, and in order for me to get heard, I got to make my space here. I got to make my voice heard here. So, you know, Def Jam was an institution, man. It was a training ground. It was UFC battle camp. Right. You know what I'm saying for artists, and that's what it was.
But why do you think it got contentious? Where like you would say stuff at times like critical of J or X, or they'd say it about you? Like, why?
You know, I think it was just we were so competitive. We all wanted to be the best, you know, within each other's space. You know, it was just that. You know, I'd see X and J and hear their records, and you know what I mean, and I'd just be like, you think they better than me? You think they records is better than my records? Like, you think they doper than me? You know what I'm saying? Like, these are real questions we all be asking, and X is sitting around and J is sitting around like, yo, you think Ja and X are doper than me? Or you think Jay and Ja are doper than me? Like, we all just had that competitive edge, you know, competitive spirit. And, you know, I think that's what made us all good together, too, on those records that we did, because we all wanted to kill each other on the records, you know, and that's makes for good records.
But then up with each other with records, too, like with Can I Get It? That was obviously your launch and stuff like that. Like, was at the time, like, it's funny because my wife loves that record, and she always talks about, like, how come Jay never brings Ja out to do the song? But I feel like Hard Knock Life, guys did that every night, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no footage of that online, be that, you know, that we trying to find
that. I mean, we got the backstage tape or whatever, the movie, but we used to tear down all, you know, good times. You know, Jay, you know, every once in a while he'll bring me out and say, yo, Rule, you come through. Or if I happen to be in the building, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Well, come on.
But did that what was the good side and bad side of that? Like giving him that record? Like it helped launch you, but then...
You know, I don't think there was no downside to that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? At the time, you know, you could look at things and be like, oh man, if this was this. But when you really now got a chance to sit back and look at the whole big picture and understand everything and how it works, yeah, that was it was brilliant. You know what I'm saying? On all parts, on everybody's parts. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It was
put
brilliant.
It on the movie soundtrack.
Put it on the movie soundtrack, to go on Jay's album, to feature me on the joint. It was brilliant by all parties involved. You know what I mean? Now that I look at it and see how my career went and how everybody was successful off of that record too. Yeah. And the success it was for everybody. Even Emile could have did something, you know. If she'd had, she had a lot of momentum. She'd have had her head right in the game. You know, it's tough to work with women. You know, sometimes.
I mean, you would know better than.
Yeah, I mean, every female situation that we had outside of Ashanti, you know, always came down to their dude. You know,
to their what?
To their dudes. You know.
Oh, got you.
We trying to do something this way. Their dude is trying to do something another way. All of a sudden, their dude is became a manager and a producer and everything. You like, huh? Huh? Hey, does he not know that we make the records over here? Like,
trying to tell us what to do with the baseline.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, it's difficult to work with women sometimes when they got dudes that you know, and that you know, in their favor, you know, those are their significant others. They trust their dudes. You're supposed to trust your man's opinion. If you don't, you shouldn't be with him. You know what I mean? So I get it, you know, but it hurts sometimes for women. It hurts them.
I would take it back a little bit. Like, I think about Mike Geronimo. You had Parents on Time to Build. From that to like Vendetta, your style, your voice was different. Yeah. Like, was that a conscious decision? Was that just nature just take its course? Because if you listen to Vendetta and you listen to, you know, The Natural is different.
It's you know, it's weird. It's like my voice grew and got, you know, heavier.
Right.
I think it, you know, came from the weed smoking, just blowing it down daily, and then it was like, it was different, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, yo,
what's going on?
Yeah, it got heavier and it was different, and it was just like, yo, whatever. But yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. I listen to those records and I'm like, damn, I sound young. Yeah, I sound mad young. Yeah.
It's only probably a difference of a year or two.
Right? Yeah, you know, you know, those records, man, I was probably about 17.
Wow.
You know, in that area, making those records with Mike. You know, that was like, I was like 95, like 90, maybe a little 95, 96 in that area, 94.
And those collabos that you do have, you know, post Mike, like, I mean, even from his album and the ones that you've done with DMX and Ja, like, I mean, with Jay, like from Gangsta Shit and a Murdergram. And
Gangsta Shit.
What are those sessions like at the time?
Just fun, you know.
Were you reluctant to do those, or was it like, okay, well, I guess we got to go back in the studio again, guys?
Nah. We anytime, you know, we did records together, we enjoyed doing the record. It wasn't like, I mean, you couldn't get X and J really in a room together, but we knew the record was going to be a good record, and you know, so. And not for nothing, we wanted to smash each other on the record. Like, you know,
who goes last?
Right.
Yeah.
So it was
X
fun.
had that long ass verse on it's Murdergram.
X always got a long ass verse.
Murdergram. I was like, damn.
We got to tie X. We're gonna stop it here.
Yeah,
is that
okay? You think DMX counts bars?
Yeah,
the dog don't count bars.
Yeah.
But what was the mentality first when you go putting your first album together? What was that process like?
You know, first albums are always good. You know, Veni Vidi Vici, you know, that was my whole life leading up to that point. You know, that's why first albums are always really good and special, because
and you can't recreate them.
You can't, because that's years and years and years of creativity and frustration and you know, what you've lived and what you've seen and the struggles you've gone through. All of that shit goes into that gumbo, and it makes something real special, you know. And then after that, it's kind of like, all right, I need an album next year, Ja. You think you could put one out January 5th will work for us? You know what I'm saying? So now you like,
now you're in the business.
Yeah, now you're in the business. Now it's not that leisure time where you got, you know, just sit down and feel, you know, I feel creative today. I'm gonna go and do what I do. You know what I mean? You don't have that luxury. So now, you know, it's on the clock. But luckily, I'm not that kind of artist. You know, I'm always creating on the fly, making up stuff. So, you know, I'm ready to go. I was ready to go after that first album. I was ready to go. I was in the studio making new records. Like, yo, you know, I was just a young, hungry lion.
You didn't stop. Like, once
I didn't stop.
The first album,
I went
going
back in and started making new records. You know, because, you know, I recorded daily. Just
in New York at the time still?
Wherever I was. It didn't matter. We could be in LA, Miami, you know, it didn't matter. I would record all the time, just record records. You know, even if I was working on an album, if I wasn't working on an album, you know, we always had our own studio. So, you know, I'd be recording records, I'd make records for other artists, whatever. You know, it was just a wheelhouse of music, you know, and it was fun for me, you know, and I enjoyed doing that. So it wasn't a problem for me, you know, to go out and put out those records and put them out quick and for them to be of quality. Right. You know?
And Holla Holla came at the end, right? Like, he wasn't necessarily going for
Holla
a single,
Holla was
right?
the last record I made on the album. You know, I made the whole Vinny Vita Vici album, and we were all sitting around like, yo, this album is dope, but it's missing something. It's missing, you know, what Def Jam can take and you know, go, you know, it's a great street vibe hood album. Everything is good on the album, but
don't have that.
I don't have this. And at the time, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck y'all talking about. You know what I'm saying? I just make music just to make music. I don't make radio records. I don't make, you know, I just make records that fit my mood and you know, whatever. I said, all right, just go back in and give us one more job. Give
This
something.
is who, Leon, Kevin?
Yeah, Gotti, you know, telling Gotti, like, yo, can we get us something? You know, okay, so I got this beat, which was the Holla Holla beat, and Gotti and I think Little Rob may have worked on it. I forget which producer they worked on it together with, but they made it. It came with the beat, and the beat was like, like, you know, it had like a funny feel to it, a funny sound to it. Bump, 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 bump. So I'm like, okay,
it's kind of kinetic.
Yeah, like, what could I do to this to bring out what the beat is? And so I created the double flow, which I called it at the time. You know what I'm saying? It was holla, holla, anybody that's ready to get dollars, dollars. You know, and I was saying all my words double, and I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to do the verses like that. You know, so if you fucking with y'all, nada, what you want to go dollar for dollar, holla, holla. My flow is holla, holla, fuck with it. You know, so I did the double time flow on the thing. And Jay heard it and he was like, "Oh, that's dope."
He hopped on a remix.
Yeah. We on the bus. We on the bus and Jay's like, "I got my verse right." So I'm like, "Yeah, let me hear it." So this is how LJ is, right? So he spit it, and it was double time, like my verse.
Hova,
taking over, soldier, right?
Fucking Jay.
And then it was dope.
He's still
but
like
then
that.
When he did it for to do it, he changed it. He only did the double on the first two. You know what I'm saying?
He had a whole verse for doing it.
Yeah, he was killing it. He was killing it. You know what I'm saying? And then he changed it up a little bit, but you know what I'm saying? It was still crazy. The verse was still dope, but you know, that's just what the kinetic energy that we had that back then. You know, we hear something we like, we vibe on it. Yo, we'll jump on that. I mean, he did that. He did that with Juvenile. We were sitting around. He's like, I got a verse for that.
I shot that in Brazil. Was that like the first rap video in Brazil? It might have been.
Yeah. That made me want to go to Brazil.
That was the first time. And then
y'all flew Gloria Velez down there. All that shit.
Yeah, we had Glow with us. Yeah, big shout out to Glow. Yeah, that was good times, man. Good times.
Follow the rules. Monday 10
p.m.
Let's make this clean out here. Clean.
Speaking of that album, I've been wanting to ask you this for a long time. I mean, you got to fall back. This is real. Well, you're Queens too. It's all Queens here.
This is more Southside Jamaica talk.
It's all good. Queens is Queens, man.
All right, so why wasn't Bleek in the video for Murder for Life?
Oh man, you know.
That's your guy.
Bleek's my dude, man. You know, I don't know.
There you go.
Honest.
I don't know. He was supposed to be in the video, and then the next thing I know, he wasn't.
Yeah, how you know
doing
Bleek
the video?
Because he wasn't in the fucking video.
Yeah,
it was Black.
He might have, flaked on it.
Nah. That wasn't Bleek. That came from some higher powers. That decisions were
beyond
made.
Josh's control at this point.
Beyond my control. I wanted Bleek, you know what I mean, in the joint, but I don't know what happened. Man. I just was like, yo, whatever. Let's ride, you know what I mean?
But that video, like, we got to talk about the significance of that video. You shot that on Jamaica. I'm from Queens, obviously, South Side.
Yeah.
And you shot that on the Coliseum block. For people that don't know, the Coliseum block, 165th Street and Jamaica Avenue, that's the shopping district. That's where everywhere goes to get their sneakers.
Everything,
a lot of fights. There's neighboring high schools there.
South Side versus fucking Hollis, all of that going on,
So, how did y'all shoot that video there?
Easy.
Really? You can't do that today?
Nah, not today. It was crazy then when we did it. You know what I mean? It was a madhouse out there, but it was, you know, it was a dope moment, and we had the whole hood out. Everybody was out, man, going crazy, and it was just fun, man. Yeah.
And this is probably the genesis of the beef with you and
that's so I hear. You know what I'm saying?
So I hear.
So I hear, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not 100% sure of this story. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I heard.
Do you remember meeting him there at the shoot, or?
You know how many people I see and meet. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. and I know him. I knew him. Right. So it was like, I don't remember this.
From Jam Master Jay.
Yeah, I know him from. I was like, I don't remember this moment or whatever. But it may happen. It may, you know. But you know.
Right.
Whatever.
No, but it's interesting because I always think about that. Particularly, you had Supreme there. You had BJ. A lot of the whole hood came out.
Oh man, Black Just, rest in peace, was out. You know. It was a crazy hood.
What was it like having the backing of like these certified dudes, like, you know, because you guys were friends, like, yeah, obviously eventually it also caused a lot of heat.
These dudes I knew for a long time, man. You know, Black Just, you know, I known him since I was a kid. You know, through my man Chris Black. You know, Black used to take us uptown and re-up. When I was a youngin', I'd be in the car with him. You know what I'm saying? Ride up there and shit. You know, Blackie. A good dude, man, really good dude. But you know, that's how I got introduced to the team. You know, through Black Just. Yeah.
What's your relationship like? I mean, I know Supreme's locked up. Do you still keep in contact with him and things like that?
Yeah, we speak when he's not in trouble. You know, Preem still Preem. You know, he was in the box for a while. He was in the box for a while. Right. And they just moved him out of the annex. Well, man, he been down for a minute now, maybe about a year and a half, maybe 2 years. Man, about 2 years he been out of annex. Yeah. You know, annex is the under the ground joint they put you in. Yeah, so that's where all of the worst of the worst, you know, criminals are supposed to be held in an underground facility where they can't see light, nothing. It's just it's the worst time you could serve 23-hour lockdown, you know.
Right. Yeah, and you faced that with your thing, and you didn't want to do that, right, when you was incarcerated.
Yeah, you don't never want to be locked down. That 23-1 is crazy. Like,
make you go crazy.
Right? Like, why am I? You know, I'm not. If I'm not being punished, don't have me in that type of lockdown. I'm good. I'll go out in population and be amongst the people rather than be locked down for 23 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I'm not doing that.
Why did they present that as an option to you? What you were saying before, we talked about
because
the situation.
You know, when you in the feds, that's an option you could take, I guess. You know, but they don't really have like PC, protective custody type holdings in the feds like that. So they just kind of go by your level of your crime. So if you camp status, you go to camp. If you, you know, medium or low, you know, or max, these are the facilities they send you to. So I was camp status, but for some reason I never made it to a camp. You know what I'm saying? Like they sent me to a medium, which was Raybrook, you know, but it's just, you know, that's just the way the feds work, man. Right. You know,
I still can't believe you did like a real 2 years and went away. You delayed for a while. Like, did you think you was ever going to really have to go in? And what was that like?
You know, jail is a funny thing because, you know, us as niggas, we gonna fight it to the death. You know what I'm saying? We gonna fight it, because you don't want to go spend time in jail. You know, especially when you out here moving and shaking, and you know you got a few dollars to shake with. You know what I'm saying? You like, nah, man, I'm not really trying to go to jail, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's see how long we can prolong this.
You're like 4 years, right? Pushed it 4 years.
No, I pushed it 2 years. You know, us fighting it. You know, seeing if we could get me lesser time and stuff like that, and then it came down to the wire. It was like, all right, this is it. You know, either you going in or you taking it to trial, and I didn't think I could win trial, so I went on in.
So was that a family decision? Did you talk to your family? Like,
of course, you don't make them decisions on the fly. You know what I'm saying? You had that conversation with the family, like, yo, you know, this is what I'm gonna have to do, baby. You know, so this is what you gonna have to do. You know what I mean? I'm gonna set these situations up for you, boom, 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 like this. Money gonna be here for you. You're gonna be taken care of, but you gotta handle everything. You know,
and did you want them to visit you and stuff like that? Did you make certain restrictions of how you?
You know, they came up and see me. Like, my wife was a soldier. She's a straight rider, yo. She came every week to see me. Packages on time, everything. You know what I'm saying? Everything the way she's supposed to do it. I mean, you know, granted that was all taken care of, so it wasn't like I had to be looking for, like, yo, baby, you know what I'm saying? Why that package ain't here, you know what I'm saying? If it wasn't there, I know why it wasn't there, you know what I'm saying? So you know, she had, but it takes a whole different mental capacity, a mental space you got to be in to just deal with all of that. Like, who the fuck wants to drive 2 hours every weekend and goes, you know, get frisked down by officers and shit that's treating you like, you know, like you a criminal, like you did something wrong and shit like that, you know, and bringing my kids and all of that. Nobody wants to do that, you know what I'm saying? So but she did it like a soldier every week.
And the kids would come sometimes too?
The kids would come as much as they could. You know, my daughter, she it was hard on her, so she'd come, but she didn't like coming. You know what I mean? She didn't want to see her father like that, so she didn't come that much. But my boys, you know, they were there with mom every week, holding moms down. But that's what I told them. I said, it's y'all job.
You're the mans of the house.
You're the mans of the house now. So y'all here, you got to hold mom down. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, you know, if mom needs help bringing the packages, this, that, and the third, nigga, you're getting it. You know what I mean? You make sure you with mom, helping with the stuff, bring the bags, whatever. You know what I mean? So, you know, my oldest son, he was old enough to really soldier it out. You know what I mean? And he was there. He'd be like, listen, mom, you going to see dad, I'm going every time, you know, whatever. So, you know, I'm sad that he had to go through that and learn that, but you know, it builds, all that shit builds some type of character in a kid. You know what I'm saying? And even if it's, I don't never want to see this inside of this place again. You know what I'm saying? There was a lesson to be learned there. You know, so, you know,
as successful as daddy is, this is also a reality.
It's a reality. It can happen. And I tell him that all the time. Like, you know, one fun night, you know what I'm saying? You think it's all going good, it take that fast for it to go wrong, and now you in jail for 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, it happens just that quick. So, you know, I tell them, you know, fun nights, they turn into 10 years in prison, so be careful. You know what I mean?
I want to talk about the Murder Inc. sound. Like, Gotti talks about it a lot, like post Veni Vidi Vici. How do you describe the Murder Inc. sound, and what does it mean to you? Like,
you know, it's hard to explain. You know, it's like the yin and the yang. You know, so, and what I mean by that is, if the beat is mellow, my voice over it gives it that edge. You feel me? Or if a beat is real hard, I can make it lighter by harmonizing over the beat. So I don't know what to call the Murder Inc. sound. I think it's more of a feeling and a vibe than anything else. You know, because you know, I basically created it. You know what I'm saying? But you know, it's for me, it's more of a vibe. You know.
But coming from Queens, you know, LL kind of had that lane. You know, Gotti talks about, okay, X had this lane, Jay had this lane, and you kind of you felt that void. Did you meet that with resistance, or was like, all right, Gotti, you're a genius, let's do it?
Nah, you know, it didn't really happen that way. You know, it was like I was being compared to X and Pac.
But you were still platinum too at the time,
right? So at the time, you know, X was grimy street.
Right.
Jay was flossy, flashy.
Right.
For me, you know, I wanted to fit in where, you know, what I felt that I could talk about very comfortably. You know what I'm saying? and at a high level. And for me, that was relationships, women, you know, something I know a little bit about. You know what I mean? I was always, you know, the fly little nigga in school, you know what I'm saying? And one of the cool kids, you know. Been with my wife a long time, you know. So for me it was easy when I heard them melodies, them beats. You know, the music changed.
Right.
You know,
you changed it.
Yeah, it was different. You know what I'm saying? So for me it was about what I was going through at that moment in life and time. You know, I was out in LA and you know, things were different. I wasn't in the hood anymore. I wasn't struggling as much per se. You know, I was getting high and doing ecstasy.
I was gonna say, how crazy was the ecstasy use?
Yeah,
did it ever get out of control?
I use a lot of ecstasy every day. You know what I'm saying? It was for me. It was used as a creative tool too. Like I get in a whole different world when I'm on this shit and high and smoking weed. You know, but I had to learn that wasn't it either. That wasn't what was driving, you know, the music.
Right.
You know, sometimes you get stuck in them ruts and you feel like I can't do it without that.
I need that to get going.
You know, and I had to bring myself out of that too. You know what I'm saying? I had to prove to myself that it's not that. You know what I'm saying? I had to do it without that too.
But for Rule 336 and Pain is Love,
it was that. Well, some of Pain is Love. Not really. Pain is Love, I was getting high, but not as Rule 336. I was getting high.
Yeah,
I was out of my mind.
To the point that you don't remember certain things.
I don't remember shit.
Yeah.
Wow. You know what I'm saying? That was a blur. I remember, we was having fun and shit. I remember the fun we was having, but
so John didn't do nothing. You don't remember?
It was a blur. It was a blur, yo. It was a blur, man.
But you're credited as being like the first rapper to write full-fledged R&B songs for like Mariah, J-Lo. Like, what's the process like when you're doing that for R&B artists versus being a rapper? Like, is it the same or?
Nah, you gotta kind of get into their headspace. You know, the artist that you're working with. You know, understand their vibe. So what I would do is and I tell them all this, you know, they used to say, you know, call me like, Ja, you know, give us some records. Let me come through and listen to some of the records and see what you got. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's not how I work. You know what I'm saying? I said, I make my shit tailored to who I'm working with. You know what I mean? Right. So if you want a record, okay, you want a record, let me know the vibe and whatever you want the record, and let me vibe for a little bit. So what I would do is I'd take their album and I'd listen to it. Just to listen to their vocal ranges and shit like that, you know, to see, you know, where I can go with them, you know what I mean, if they could do whatever. But my whole thing was, it wasn't so much about the vocal range because, you know, I would just listen to that to see if they could pull off whatever I'm doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? And whatever I'm going to do for them, they could pull off vocally, you know, if I should make it simpler or whatever. But that didn't really matter to me. The real thing that mattered was to get into their headspace, you know, to make a record that made them feel like he's talking to me. He knows me, you know. And I captured that with Mariah and the record I did with her.
Like Mary J. Blige, Rainy Days.
Rainy Days. Now, see, Rainy Days is a different story. Now, I'm going to tell you the story behind Rainy Days because I actually wrote that record for TLC.
Wow.
So, right. So I wrote that record for TLC, and I was on the phone with Tion, with T-Bars, and I'm singing to the hook, and I'm in L.A. Reed's office, and I'm singing to the hook, and she's like, "Oh, the record is dope. It sounds dope." So I'm thinking, okay, great. You know what I mean? I'm sending this off to y'all, and
cut the check.
You guys got a good record. It's all good, go great. In walks Mary.
Oh wow.
She hears the beat and the thing. What's going on? She's listening to the reference because I used to reference all my records. You know what I'm saying? So she's listening to the reference, and she's like, "What is that? Who's the?" And LA's like, "Yeah, you know, Ja just did that. He just wrote that for TLC. They love the record." And Mary took the shit.
Wow.
And she took it, went and recorded it, and brought it back, and it was like
her record.
That's it.
Wow.
Once Mary put her touch on it, it was like, okay, I guess that's your record now. Wow. But but you know, that taught me something too. You know, about writing a record and really having it tailor made and thinking it's tailor made for this person. You know,
because you like what she did with it.
She bodied it.
Right.
You know, and I didn't hear that side of it. You know, she took it and did what she did to it. I didn't know all the words were the same, but. Yeah. She married. She's Mary.
Yeah.
I just didn't, you know, I'm hearing, you know, T-Boz's voice over it when I'm writing it. I'm hearing Left Eye rhyming in the parts where I'm rhyming, you know, so it was that for me. That's what I visioned, that's what I seen, that's what I was hearing. And then for her to do it and, you know, do it the way she did it, it made me realize that, you know, sometimes it doesn't always have to be like that.
Well, how did you feel like, how do you start to become like a hit maker? Like you said with Holla Holla was just kind of a natural thing. You wasn't about this, I got to make a hit. And you naturally like rock to the beat and found something unique.
For me, it's never about that. It's just about, you know, vibing to the music and making good music. Good music is good music and it's timeless. You know what I'm saying? Hit records they're not always timeless. That doesn't always make them timeless.
So you felt when you was making like Always on Time, those type of records, you felt they were more timeless. Like that's what you was going for?
If you notice, if you ever listen to my records and my lyrics, I don't rhyme about shit that could date my records really.
That's true.
Okay. I'm playing Xbox and
I don't talk about. I don't really put years into my shit and shit like that because for me, I understand that. You know what I'm saying? That these records that I'm making them to be timeless. I don't want them to have a date on them. I don't want them to be dated. I want people to be able to pick up a Ja Rule record anytime in their life and be like, that shit's kind of still hot. You know what I'm saying? Like, even in this day and age, it's still kind of hot. You know, so. You know, that's just, you know, me being an artist.
I think at that time, your records were so big that I hated you. I think that's where most of the backlash was. It's because it's like, you turned on the radio.
At least you're fucking honest. He's like, I just hated you. I think it no more.
Because for like the last two, like I always say everyone has a year. I would give you had like a 2-year hot run. Like every time you turned on the radio.
It may have been 3. It may have been 3.
Yeah, tell him, John.
99, 2000, 2001.
It
may have been 4.
02 was
02. Yo, it was still. I was still smashing them in 02.
Wait a second.
What's the year Nas didn't show up to Summer Jam? Was that 02 or 01?
That was
02.
Yeah, and I feel
you closed out. You guys closed out.
I closed.
Wait a second.
And I remember that's when the backlash. I felt the backlash first time. I felt like everybody knows all these records. Yeah. But they're like, these guys are just it's too much because they would sing the hooks
them so
and
bad.
it was killing them so bad.
Listen, it happens to everybody.
Wait, because 97
everybody gets that hot. It happens.
No, I know.
98 is X. 99 is.
I came in 99, but it was still Jay. You know what I'm saying? That was my first album. 2000 is when Well, but you know, but
unless you go Nelly or something like.
No, but what I'm saying is what I'm saying is. Holla Holla. Well, yeah, Holla Holla was a big record for me. For that was 99. You know what I'm saying? That was into 98 going into 99.
Yeah.
And that wasn't like the end of 99. And then 2000.
Rule 336. 3 times platinum.
Yeah. Then
Pain
I
is
did
Love 2001. 3 times platinum.
And then
Last Temptation. Platinum.
Yeah.
But the record
so that was 2002 when it started to. You know, so
I remember that you was like, and you guys was like, you knew Nas wasn't coming. You said something on stage like, you know, I hope you motherfuckers have a good time. Like you just walked on the stage like.
I knew Nas was, but that was crazy too. You know what I'm saying? That was a whole crazy situation too. It just shows you how the powers that be, how things work. So now when you go ahead and you want to reflect on my beef, understand how things work.
Right.
They wouldn't let Nas do what he wanted to do on that screen for Jay. That's why Nas stormed out and had a fit and was acting crazy because
and you got the headline.
Because Hot Night, what was it? Hot 97? I don't know what station it was. I think
or something.
It was one of them. I don't remember what station it was, but they wouldn't let him do what the fuck he wanted to do on the Summer Jam screen.
Right.
Because he was going to do some crazy shit and shit on Jay, and it was like, nah, we're not going to condone that. Huh? But you let every other motherfucker come here and do it.
Yeah.
You gotta understand something, man. Sometimes in beefs, it's bigger than the two artists.
Yeah, it's politics.
It's politics.
Sometimes it's magazines.
You know, it's a lot. It's a lot that's involved. You know what I'm saying?
But you ended up kind of getting involved. What did you think when Irv wanted to bring Nas to Murder Inc. when that was going on?
You know, that was a good situation. It could have been a good situation. You know, I don't know how it all unfolded. It unfolded, you know. Look, I really don't know how it all unfolded, but it could have been a great situation.
Irv did Super Ugly, and the next thing you know, he was trying to bring in typical Irv fashion.
It could have been a great situation. Is all I'm saying.
No, but was you willing? Like you see a lot of times with artists, like 50 went through that with Game. Like you know, a lot of times the big guy doesn't want to share the stage. Have another star on the label. Like here, you have a guy where you may be the hottest guy right now. This guy's revered on the label.
I didn't give a fuck because you know what I'm saying. Nobody was hotter than me. I didn't give a fuck who came to the label. You know what I'm saying?
It
did not know. Nas, for me, it was adding to what we were doing because you're not going to take away from what I'm doing. I'm already me. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you come in here and I'm trying to still be, you know,
and you already competed with X and J.
I'm here. I'm here already. I'm already here. I've already arrived. So bringing Nas to the situation was like, yo, this is gonna be dope. Like, and Nas was at my crib and we kicking it. And I'm like, yo, Nas, we about to kill it, baby. I'm like, yo, we gonna get matching Ferraris. We gonna run around crazy on these streets right now. I embraced it, man.
Belly too.
Yo, I embraced it, man. I was like, we about to crush. We gonna have a good time doing it too. and it just didn't happen.
But you were a hot guy. But like you said on the Breakfast Club, your ego, not necessarily your ego, but, you know, at the time you were just really popping. You know, you turned down the movie Fast and Furious, you explained, because you were hot.
Right.
But
not because I was hot, because I was, you know, it was
busy.
It was busy. It was busy. And, you know, you don't, it's kind of hard to turn down $12, $14 million to go take $500,000.
So how do you explain
it's kind of hard to do
turning down Training Day, Ja?
I didn't turn down Training Day. Who told
you
that?
did.
I did not.
The Double XL magazine, 2001. They said they offered you the role.
What role?
Speaking part with Denzel Washington.
What role?
I got that wrong.
Listen, it's on the record.
Which role is this? I wasn't getting the Denzel role.
He said it or we said it?
It was a cover story, Double XL.
It must have been a small role.
Okay. And they say he had speaking lines and everything, and you was like, you know what, I ain't doing it.
Yo, it must have been a small role, man. Let's think of what role. Let's think of what role in Training Day could have been mine. Because it wasn't. You know what? It might have been Snoop's role.
So you could have had Snoop's role.
It might have been Snoop's role.
That was a pretty good role.
It was cool. It was cool. Listen, let me tell you something about who I am. You know what I'm saying? I want to do great things.
Right.
Yeah. So sometimes I make bad decisions based on that. You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
Yeah. And I'm not saying I've done the greatest movies in the world, but if you notice the movies that I do, I'm basically the lead. You know what I'm saying? So for me,
you want the ball. You want that position.
I want the ball, yo. Yeah. I want the rock. I want to take the shot. You know what I'm saying? And
if
me,
I miss or whatever,
and if I missed, I could sleep well at night. I did that. You know what I'm saying? But now here's the thing I'm saying. See, for me, doing those films where I play the lead, but it may not be as a big film or whatever, shows Hollywood that I can carry that load.
Right.
You understand? It's not easy for everybody to carry that load. You get a script this thick, and 90% of the dialogue is yours. Motherfuckers is like, yeah, you know, I don't know, maybe I'm not sure about this acting thing. You know, I thought I was gonna do, you know, give me a gun, run around, shoot up some shit, and, you know that. Yeah, so
I'm in school now. I got to study.
Yeah, I got to study all of this and do all this. So I took on those roles that may not have been the greatest roles, but I took some of those roles on because I wanted to let Hollywood know I can carry this workload.
Okay.
And learn
you know
the craft.
what I'm saying? I'm gonna learn my craft. I'm gonna get my weight up, and I can handle that workload. So now, if ever I'm in the position where I'm just the hottest motherfucker, and y'all want to take a shot shot on me, you know I can handle the workload.
Right.
You know, and that for me is important. So you know, so now it's like, you know, I'm being offered roles and stuff to do, and real talk, they'll go look at I'm in love with a church girl and say Ja can do this with his eyes closed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? No problem. Get Ja to do it. So for me that was important, you know, than doing little roles and whatever. You know.
You got something next year too, right?
Yeah, I start shooting my new film in January, but I did a cameo, a small scene and play a small role in a new film coming this December. It's December 18th. It's called Sisters, and I called it the wrong name of it. They changed the name of it. It's called Sisters with Amy Poehler and Tina Fey.
But that was an acceptable small role in this sense. Tina Fey.
It's Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, man.
Can't go wrong.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with them.
And you also worked with Steve Madden on the shoe.
My shoe line.
How did that come about? Y'all were just friends?
No, we met through Irv, and Irv kind of, you know, put the bridge together for that, and me and Steve kicked it and hit it off, and you know, Steve's a stand-up dude, man. You know, he could have did a shoe line with all types of people. Right. You know, this, that guy. You know, there's other guys out there that's hot. But, you know, Steve, he wanted to do it with me because he knew I would champion that. Right. I would take on that responsibility and not just put my name on something and say, yo, yeah, go ahead and take a check. You know what I'm saying? So he was happy that, you know, I actually, you know, came aboard and was very, you know, into making the shoe.
Oh, you're hands-on with it?
I was very hands-on with it, yeah. So he was happy about that. We made some good shoes, man, you know, so, you know, maybe we keep going and make some more stuff later on in the future.
Is Jeffrey a rap?
You know, we sold that to Samsung so long ago.
Wow,
man.
the Samsung.
Yeah, we you know, so
y'all had that on the XXL cover.
That was that was out there. I still love the name. I still love the logo. You know, I created the logo. I created the name. I still love it, man. But it just didn't work. Everything you do is not going to be a home run, right? You know? And that's just what it is. But you can't be scared to fail in this business. You got to go after what you want, and you know, pray and hope that it's a success. You know?
What do you think of Irv? Irv's been doing them complex things, and I know he's been silenced now. No filter, Irv.
Yeah.
First of all, how do you put up with that? How do you put up the fact that I guess you just accept it, right? Because that's your brother.
I love him. That's my brother. And, you know, Irv wouldn't be Irv. You know, so. Of course, I called him. Was like, "Yo, what the fuck, man?" Like, you know what I'm saying?
What he was saying was that at the height of the beef for 50, he should have did an album. He should have been an artist.
I 86 that.
But that was a real thing. You decided
he wanted to. Yeah, he wanted to make an album. I was like, Gotti, don't do that.
Yeah, it was on the intro to the Murderers compilation.
We did. I've done songs with Gotti.
Can Gotti rap? A little bit.
He can flow. I mean, if you give him what the words, he doesn't. He's not going to write it.
Yeah,
he's not a rapper. You know what I mean? But if you give it to him, he can deliver it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So we've done some stuff. You know what I'm saying? I've done a couple of records and Gotti's been on it, you know, but at the time I was like, this is not a good idea, my brother.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is not like, you know, no.
Yeah.
Shut it down.
Yeah, we're not going to do that. You know what I'm saying?
And was you concerned with the Fed case at the time? Like, I mean, look at this only kind of rap beef that it wasn't just the music. It was like these real life ramifications. Like, that was the thing when we did the XXL cover. I was like, yo, their labels been FBI. It's like, this has to be documented. Like, we have to do this story. Like, you got to cover both sides. Like,
no label's ever been raided by the feds, officers. Yeah. And you know, so it was a new situation for everybody to deal with, you know. When you got the federal, you know, government telling you, listen, Def Jam, you got these guys over here, are you vouching for these guys? Mm-hmm. We say they're dirty. What do you say? We say we're going to get them off the label right now. So that, you know, that's what it became for us. You know what I'm saying? And how do you know, take a label and an artist that was so successful and just drop them like that. Right. The federal government.
It's unprecedented. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Federal government.
But Irv and Chris were really on trial. You weren't on trial. Like, what was that like seeing your brothers go through that? Like,
it was crazy, man. You know, I was scared for them, man. I thought they was, you know, doomed. You know, you got a conviction rate, you know, but there was nothing there.
Yeah.
So when I look back at it, I'm like, we were all nervous because we know how the feds operate and how strong they are in indicting and you know, hammering them cases through.
Yeah.
You know, but at the end of the day, when I'm looking at them, like, they were not guilty though. You know what I'm saying? They didn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? The money that they were talking about, we gave the Preem and this, that, and all that. It was all, you know, I don't know where they came with all of that. You know what I mean? It was well documented where the money came from and this, that, and the third. So it's just like, it was, I don't even know why they would take something like that to try.
I guess because the name of the label too. They say Lior had battles with her, telling him to change the name, and
yeah, they went through, you know, because for us it didn't mean that. You know, it was creative. With Murder Inc. You know, we murdering the business, the industry, you know. And now everybody's, you know, looking at us and taking shots at us and saying we should change the name and we should do this and that and the third, and we're like, nah, fuck that. Right. Why should we do that? You know, but the powers that be won, obviously.
The ink,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we became the ink. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, it don't got the same ring to it, Gotti. Just saying. You know what I'm saying? But you know, those are times that we'll never forget, you know, in our lives. And you know, like I said, it all comes full circle. So, you know, that was the time that in our lives where, you know, it was used against us as a weapon, so to speak, and they helped take down the juggernaut, to help take us down, and they was all a part of that and everything. You know, but it all comes full circle, you know, because now we're able to tell our story. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And we got the Murder Inc., you know, TV show that we're doing, you know, with Paramount. So, you know,
that's going to be a series, right?
It's going to be a TV series. Yeah. And then you'll get to see everything being told the way it's supposed to be told, and you guys will understand a lot more. You know.
I was gonna say, what do you think is the biggest misconception that people may not know about the whole building of that movement?
It's a lot. It's so many things that people just don't understand.
Yeah.
You know, I seen a good thing on the internet the other day. They were talking about me and the beef and this is that and just the behind the scenes shit that people didn't understand and don't see.
Yeah.
You know,
connecting those dots.
Connecting the dots and you know, because everybody's saying, 50 ended job. Well, yeah, you could say that if you really don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a really, really big artist at that time. It takes a little more than, you know, a nigga to come out and just start rapping. You know what I'm saying? To do all that was done to us. You know what I mean? And with the show, you'll get a little insight and get to see how everything unfolded. You know?
So you can get Black Child and Cadillac tie some checks, man.
Listen, nobody's playing themselves in the show.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? We're getting actors to do everything. You know, so you know, everybody's gonna get some money off of it.
I'm gonna call this guy's phone. Watch this guy's phone.
I don't know how this works.
Watch this guy's phone, man.
What's wrong? Come on, Elliot.
Turn your phone on, man.
My phone is on.
Watch this.
Oh, he's gonna call me for my ringtone on my phone.
Yeah, you still got ringtone?
Absolutely. I didn't have a
It's not even going through.
Oh, fuck it. As I have I have Pop City Anthem.
He has Pop City Anthem.
I didn't have a two-way back in the day.
You gotta have an older record if you got a ringtone.
But that was
you can't have a new record with a ringtone.
No, but at the time, that's the way. I didn't have a two-way. I wanted one, so I was like, fuck it.
He really is from Jamaica Queen.
Yeah, that was the shit that them two ways, man. That that's where we got the sound from. Yeah, that's where we got the noise from.
So what do you think the place now? I mean, I see you talking about you still keep up to date with stuff like you up on J. Cole, Bryson Tiller. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Like, what do you think is about the new energy in the game right now, and where would you fit? Because I know you're working on another album. Like, what do you think you and Irv? What's your maneuvers to try to get back and sort of like carve your lane in this?
Thanks,
Yo, just good. That's dope. Yeah, just good music.
Like that.
Just good music.
Yeah.
You know, there's no secret to it. There's no. You know, you can't wave a magic wand and make shit happen. It's just, you know, if you make that shit and it's good, people will gravitate toward it. You know, people will say, I like that record. Yeah. And that's all you can hope for in this business. You know, you could think about the ways of pushing it through. All right, I get it to radio, I need to get it to the DJs, and all that shit. But it really, in reality, none of that shit makes a difference anymore.
No, because you made a comeback like during the height of the beef when you made Clap Back in New York. I remember you being on radio.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Everyone was on your dick at that time. I remember that. Yeah. And I'm like, John's back.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it is what it is, man. You know, at the end of the day, you know, people are going to feel about it how they feel about
it. Right.
You know, for me, it's not, you know, it's not important in my life anymore.
Right.
You know, at the time it was everything, you know, that was going on. But now it's not. It's you know, it's old news, you know, and people have heard me talk about it a million times.
Yeah.
And
well, we touched on it less in this one.
I mean, there's nothing else to really say. No, you know what I'm saying about it. But you know,
what about
Catch the Murder Inc. series, and that's it.
What about the New York record? Soto, like that's just a dope record. Like, what was the mentality at that time? Just everybody to get together.
Let's get on this record and make a dope record for New York.
Yeah,
you know, that's it. You know, let's stand up for New York one time. You know, it was fun. You know,
are you tough on the state of New York hip hop? Because he gets on that sometimes. Like the state of New York hip hop is not what it used to be. Like, what's your take on that? Like the sound and things.
You know, I wouldn't just say New York hip hop. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's music. When I came out, I didn't get supported by New York. You know what I'm saying?
I kind of did. Holla Holla was popping here in New York.
I broke on the West Coast.
Really?
Wow.
Fun fact. Then our, you know, New York stations was like, yo, Leo was like, yo, how is it that a New York rapper is killing it on the West Coast right now and he's not getting no love in his own backyard? And it's true, though.
Right.
Same thing, you know, with magazine covers and shit like that, you know? Leo started calling like, How is it he has the biggest records in the country right now and he's not on your cover? You're dropping the ball. Hang up the phone. That's it. Next thing you know, I'm on the cover.
Give him a sledgehammer. We over right.
I'm on the cover. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you got that call. You got that call. You and a few others. You know what I'm saying? Like, how is this possible?
Give him a sledgehammer.
But you know, for me that's why I love what I do, because it didn't come to me like that. Yeah. It wasn't handed to me.
So that would be inspiration to the new generation of New York artists. It may not even break here first. You could go outside of it.
Go outside and break. I mean, for the new generation, it's different. You can break your shit on the internet and you know, be doing concerts and shows with nobody involved. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need no label, I don't need no radio, I don't need nobody. I don't need that. And I like that. I like that the artists can be independent and go out and do whatever the fuck they want and make the kind of music they want and, you know, have a voice and do whatever they want, man. Just be creative and be free. For me, that's dope, you know, because I had to fight for that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, Def Jam, you know, they wanted me to do something else. They wanted me to turn me into somebody else. And I was like, nah, I'm me. I want to be who I am. You know what I'm saying? So artists don't have to fight for that no more. Yeah. When they have a label that's footing the bill and they're like, we're going to need you to do this. You know what I'm saying? You got to fight that. Right. And some artists don't. Yeah. And they forever regret it because they get lost. Now they don't know who they are anymore. You understand? It's hard for them to look in the mirror and shit. They're like, who the fuck? Who are you? You know what I'm saying? I thought I was this person and you got me doing this kind of music. What the fuck happened to me? And that's tough on artists.
Yeah. Do you give a lot of advice out now? Do you feel like you're OG Ja Rule now, and you give people on stuff?
You know, cats look at me as an OG, and I guess I am now an elder statesman in the game. You know, I was laughing with Russell about that a couple of nights ago. We was chilling. I said, listen, Russ, I'm almost 40. You're old as shit. You know what I'm saying? You're old as dirt, Uncle Rush. You know what I'm saying? I call you Uncle Rush. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you know. It's good though for hip hop because we're getting older, we're evolving, and I think, you know, that's what makes my show special. Yeah, because
Mondays 10 p.m.
Tonight 10 p.m. No, but for real though, that's what makes it special because you see how close me and my kids are. Mm-hmm. That's hip hop. That's hip hop. Right. Because when I was young, me and my mom and dad didn't listen to the same music. They was listening to the Otis Redding and all type of shit, and you know, that's good music, great music, but we didn't connect because they really couldn't understand me. I understand my kids because even though I may not listen to the same hip hop they listening to, I'm still listening to hip hop. So we understand each other. That gap is being bridged, and I think that's, you know, that's a really dope thing. So, you know, I challenge parents to watch my show and learn something from it. You know, because all of us as parents, you know, our main goal as parents is we want our kids to run to us and not from us. Come tell me, man. You know, and it's hard. And it's hard to get that. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to get that with your kids, man. So, you know, I've done a decent job at it. It's even, you know, it's still hard. You know what I'm saying? But I like the fact that my kids will come and tell me shit. Like sometimes I got to tell them, oh, I don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? Like you're telling me too much. Nigga. Get on out of here. You know what I'm saying? Your mother's in the room. Nigga.
Have you reconnected with your father? I know you've been vocal about that.
My father's dead now, but you know, we tried to reconnect. We we didn't really get to connect the way I wanted to, and us to really be friends again. You know, the way I felt we could have got to that space. We didn't get to do that, but. You know, I got a lot of closure in our relationship. You know, I hated him for a lot of years, you know, for a lot of different reasons. And so, you know, that me being able to just get with him for the little time that we had gave me a lot of closure.
That's good.
Yeah. And you grew up Jehovah's Witness. Your mom, she went through
you know,
the whole thing. Right?
You know, Jehovah's Witness is crazy, man. It's a really, it's a tough religion. It's like Jehovah's Witness kids are like the worst kids. Like we come out insane because we're kept away from everything.
Right.
Yeah. It's like that, like the Christian girl, like the preacher's daughter. You know what I'm saying? She's the freakiest. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't get to see what's out there in the world, you don't. You know, you're
too sheltered.
Yeah, you're too sheltered. You get a taste of it, you go crazy.
Right.
When you kind of know what's going on and you see this is out there, and that's, you know, in Amsterdam they got the kids don't even smoke weed. You know what I'm saying? Because
It's there.
It's there.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal, yo. And it's not being hidden from them like this is some big secret over here that you don't know about it. You should know about. You know what I'm saying? So it's you know, Jehovah's Witness was like that. So the moment I got a breath of fresh air, I did everything.
Hustle.
Everything. Give me drugs. Let me sell some drugs. Yeah. I'm gonna do some drugs. You know, listen, I'm gonna do whatever. What's going on here? You know what I'm saying? It's, you know, so,
I'm outside.
Yeah, I'm outside, man. I'm gonna go crazy. So, you know, I try to keep my kids away from that. I try to let them know what's out there, you know, as much as possible. This is what's out there. This is what we're gonna have to face. It's up to you to make the right decisions.
And you was born like on a leap year, man. You're a unique guy, man.
Turning 10 next year.
Yeah. I got the big 1-0, man, coming up next year, man. We're gonna do it big too, man. I'm currently in the midst of negotiating. I'm renting an island and shit, so I'm just
renting an island.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm just take all my friends and you know we just gonna go there.
Hopefully it's not Rikers.
Yeah, that's where we might be after we ever on this island. They had to bring us all to Rikers. Nah, but it's
would you
gonna
choose
be
like 2/28 or March 1st? Like, how would you celebrate your birthday growing up? Or
exactly. It was Jehovah's Witness. You don't celebrate at all. I didn't have my first birthday at all until I was like 12. You know what I'm saying? And that's tough when I didn't my first Christmas. None of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
now you go extra hard with your kids?
Now how hard it is growing up knowing Santa ain't real. At like 3. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, this nigga ain't real.
Christmas time at Hollis, Queens.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know how fucked up that is and shit. Like, nigga, the Easter Bunny ain't real, nigga. I'm telling you, nigga. The Tooth Fairy don't give you money. I'm telling you. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
No Christmas in Hollis.
Yeah, no Christmas in Hollis. Like, you know, it's...
Not in Woodhull.
Yeah,
But your kids will never go through that, man.
You know... It's because I didn't have those things. I do Christmases big for the kids. Yeah. Like, I love Christmas. I'm like the Christmas guy. You know
Santa
what I'm saying? I am Santa himself. But, you know, I didn't keep that from them either. And you know what's fucked up? Because I take things for granted because I didn't grow up with them.
Right.
Like birthdays. And my wife still gets pissed at me about it because I'm like, yo, I don't really give a fuck about birthdays. They're not important to me like that.
You're like, take me
to
dinner.
She's like, nah, nigga. Birthdays are important, nigga. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo.
Where's my ring?
I didn't learn to celebrate them like you did. You know what I'm saying? It's not important. Christmas. But Christmas, I just love Christmas, man. It's just a fun holiday. I loved it since I was a kid and couldn't celebrate. I would always be just like, damn, man.
Y'all did put out a Christmas album too, right?
Nah.
It was like, okay. I think you were thinking about doing it once.
I thought about it.
Right.
I was going to do a dope Christmas album, too. Yeah. You know, it's been done in the past. I think Dipset did. I was going to do something fly like that. You know what I'm saying? But being that I made the R&B type regular, motherfuckers is like, oh, Ja about to come with that. He about to go with that Nat King Cole, nigga.
Ja Rule. What the fuck is this Christmas album?
Word. But I was going to make a dope Christmas album. Right. It would have been, you know, I may do that one day, man, just for the fuck of it. But I ain't going to be rhyming on it. I just want to put my vision out there and have other people do the songs and shit.
Man, we out of here, man. We're going to enjoy the holidays. We're going to Follow the Rules, man.
Yeah, man. So follow the rules
when is
tonight.
It in? How long is this? Till December? How much more episodes?
We shot 12 episodes, but now we running them back to back, double episodes, back to back. So, yeah, y'all can catch an hour of Follow the Rules tonight. What happened?
December 7th, finale.
December 7th. She got all the answers. She's not
focused.
She got the answers. She's not sweating. Yeah, but December 7th is the finale. So yeah, we got a little ways to go.
Cool. We gotta get invited to that 10th birthday, man.
Oh man, listen, man, I'm sending out invites, man.
I'll let Irv will take
you may have to be